Well, Toastmasters, guess the speech is about my communication style. Kind of at a disadvantage. Being me, I don't actually get to observe my communication style. Fortunately, a lot of people at work are willing to give me feedback, generally unsolicited feedback. But I've learned a lot about how I communicate through things I've been told. I'm a computer programmer, so a lot of my communication is actually in writing code. So hang on, everybody. This speech is going to be about my coding. Don't worry, nothing technical. It's really going to be about the process, what I'm trying to achieve. When you write code, there are two audiences. One is the computer. It has to interpret what you've written and perform some task. And people think that's what programming is all about. But really, you're writing for other people. People have to understand the code. People have to fix the code. People have to update the code. And if you've written a big blob of mess that nobody can comprehend, they're not going to be able to do that. So that's my goal, to make it clear, concise, understandable. Same thing I do when I speak, same thing I do when I write in English. You would think with computer languages, it would be a little easier, but they're very, very complex. Nobody knows a language entirely. So all the same difficulties you have with English, you really can have with computer code. My communication style is analytical, which according to the training from Toastmasters for speech is precise, exact, analytical, and logical. Yes, analytical is used to describe analytical. That's something an analytical communicator would notice and be bothered by. But it's something that works really well for a computer programmer. Being logical is helpful. So I've written a lot of code, interacted a lot with people at work. One time I was at a customer site, away from work, you don't want to get interrupted, and my boss calls me. And he calls me just to tell me, I write the stupidest code he's ever seen. Gotta give a little background though. He actually called me earlier in the day. There was a program that had a reputation. Nobody can understand it. If you asked a question about it, you had to give 2-day lead time just to read it, figure this stupid thing out. And he'd been asked to add a new feature to it, and he had 1 day to do it. He was in a complete panic. So he'd call me and like, you have any advice? And my advice was, I rewrote that thing. Take a look, call me if you have a problem. The second call, where he told me I wrote the stupidest code he's ever seen, he followed up with, I'm sure you know this, but I mean that as a compliment. He looked at the code like, God, there's nothing tricky. There's nothing clever. There's nothing even smart here. A chimpanzee can go and change this thing. He was also telling me that his modifications were done, tested, everything was perfect. Another boss, they gave me other feedback. He said, I have a problem with something called creeping elegance. Now, that's exactly what it sounds like. That means I will spend forever on a problem. Okay, it works, but it's not good enough. Can I express it better? Can I make it easier to read? And I'm never satisfied. As an analytical communicator, I have a bit of a reputation as being a perfectionist, but there's a reason for that. I'm a perfectionist. Over time, I've tried to overcome that. I think I'm getting better, but I still take longer on my code. But I very rarely have to go back and fix things. Now, the perfectionist, though, is still in me. I rewrote this speech about like 20 times. I'm still not really happy with it. But at some point, you just have to give the speech. One of the tasks I get at work is estimating things. So just so you know what that process is like, you're given a task, very vague, no details, working on a product you probably know nothing about, and you're told, here's the team you have. How long is this going to take to complete? And every time I'm given this task, my boss calls me, like, I can see it in you, I can hear it in you. You're stressed about this. Like, I can't know how long it's going to take to do something until I've done it. There are too many variables, too many unknowns. She's always like, well, don't stress about it. Just do your best, and that's it. Well, if I just do my best and give an estimate, it's going to be wrong. It's going to be inaccurate. Being inaccurate for me is the same as lying. Lying is stressful. I don't like doing that. But that's my life. So now I'm working on becoming a better speaker. And I still suffer with being a perfectionist, wanting to be overly precise, spending a long time figuring things out. But I'm hopeful someday I will be able to give speeches that are as stupid as my code. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Suzette Wheeler. I am now an author. I am so excited. I have a show and tell as I start talking about my journey, my self-publishing journey. And by the way, I was a programmer before. When I first started my career, as a programmer like you, I'm like, yes, I understand. I can chum with you on that one. Anyway, so show and tell. Math Hack Secrets. This is the book that I was working on. I've been working on for about 3 years. And it started off where I took about 9 months creating the book and just writing like heck. And then it took about 1.5 years to get through developmental editing by itself. Now, developmental editing is where they come in, the developer comes in and digs through the book and says, why isn't this here? What are you missing there? Really digs in and just kind of rips it apart, which is good because you need that as an author doing the right thing. Math Hack Secrets, let me tell you what it's about. First of all, I chose Math Hack Secrets because I experienced people that didn't know math and they're struggling with everyday purchases. They were struggling, they were paycheck to paycheck, less than paycheck to paycheck. My target audience is age 15 to 30, but this book is written for everybody. But it's targeted to high school, college, and the people just getting out on their own. And for a reason. This is the home economics class that many people have never had or never had the opportunity to have. This will save you hundreds and thousands of dollars. So what does it have in it? It has, because I first want to talk about it, grocery store, how to find the best deal at the grocery store, how to save a lot of money at the grocery store, interest you have to pay on a car, interest rate on mortgages, interest rate on credit cards, how to do a balance transfer, and understand which one's a better deal, and if it makes sense over the long haul, balance transfer on credit cards, saving thousands on a car, and other major things, even making change. A lot of people don't know how to make change. You give it 20 and the bill's $8.50. How much money do you give back? Do you get out your calculator or can you figure it out? And this book shows you how to do it in your head and figure it all out. So anyway, I wrote this book because people are struggling. I wrote this book to help the community. I wrote this book so that people could read it and they could learn from it. And I'm also going to be doing videos on this as well on YouTube. I get to talk to you about the journey. The journey, when you look at a book, you're like, oh, that's a nice book. This right now is a proof. So there's this like white line here. But a book has a lot of different things. It has a cover, it has a spine. It has the author, and then it has it's called an imprint. So that's the publishing company. And then it has the back, it has the author information and a nice little thing about the book, about why you should open it and look at it. And I put a QR code on mine. So when you click on this, it goes to the website. I had a website designed with GoDaddy. So some of the fun things with this whole adventure is you have to hire a lot of people if you want to do it self-published. So that there's traditional publishing, there's self-publishing. So traditional publishing, you find a literary agent, they promote your book to a publishing company, you know, like Crown, like Wiley, the other publishing companies, and then they take it over, they give you a stipend, but they take over the book. They determine what the cover looks like. They determine what the contents are in there, and they basically own the book. You're pretty much, you give your stipend and they have total control, but you have to market the book. They don't market it for you. They just produce it and say, hey, so the type of people that they pull in for traditional publishing are people that have like 1 million followers, social media people, people have a big group of people. I had no social media followers. I had nothing. I just thought, well, I'm going to build this up by myself. And also traditional publishers, by the time the literary agent and the other people take all their cut, there's not much money left for the author. And you get a cut, but it's so small. But if you do it yourself, you have a lot more of the royalties, they call it, per book. So these books, there's a hardcover and a soft cover. I'll pass these around. It's the same size, 6x9. When you're looking at a book, you have to, when you decide the size, you have to decide the size based on what else is in the marketplace that's a similar book. And this is like self-development. This is personal finance. So I'll send those around to you. Those are Amazon proofs. The other thing that I found out is that you can't just do an Amazon proof. You have to look at other opportunities too. Like for me, it would be Amazon plus I have Ingram Spark, so I can sell it now to schools. I can sell it to small bookstores. I can sell it to Barnes and Noble. I can sell it internationally. I'm not just stuck with Amazon. Some people just upload to Amazon, but this is a better deal. So some of them are a real fun story. I don't have a lot of time to talk about all of the different things that I had to do on this, but I'm going to show you this. When you get a quote for your book from a live person, you have to ask their permission. Well, I had some presidents that had passed long ago on mine, but this is I had to write a letter, so I wanted Warren Buffett's 2 quotes. So I sent a letter to him, and I didn't think I'd get anything back. And a couple of weeks later, I see this envelope, it says Berkshire Hathaway. I almost threw it away because I thought it was home services. Like someone's trying to list your house with us. No, he signed. I'm going to pass that around too. He signed for the 2 quotes that I asked him to sign for. Isn't that great? I felt like all the doors are opening for me on this. I really do. So I want to write, I'm going to have another speech coming in that's a lot longer. I want to eventually make this a 30-minute speech, but this I created because I was going crazy. This is the tracks, all of the tracks I had to do. These are all of the efforts that I have to do to make sure this happens. You want to do it the right way. If you're self-publishing, you're going to want a website and all of that. So anyway, because I have a red tag, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. But anyway, I just want to say the self-publishing journey has been amazing, and I look forward to sharing more information with you as the speeches get longer. But anyway, thank you very much.